Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, welcome to the 9 p.m. English news edition. And here are the headlines. End of training for technical education trainers. Four car manufacturers join forces against Trump. Hello and welcome again. The Secretary General of MENFOB, Mr. Mohammed Abdullah Mayoub, today in the late morning at the CFEEF closed a training course for training of technical education and vocational training. Many MENFOB executives and managers, including the Executive Director of the CFEEF, Mrs. Aisha Farah, the Director General of the ETFP, Mr. Abdul Qadir Hamid, attended this ceremony, which brought together many ETFP teachers and trainers. It should be noted that about 20 league teachers attended the pedagogical seminar given by the Mr. Roman Thomas Dorange, a French expert. The training, which took place from 14 to 25 July 2019, was supported by the After Group's pedagogical department. More generally, this training of trainers at ETFP focused on 4 modules, including the design of teaching materials, professional simulation, active facilitation methods, interaction between high schools and companies, and finally, the pedagogy of professional practice. Finally, it should be noted that the ceremony ended with the presentation of certificate of participation to the beneficiaries of the ETFP training of trainers and the traditional family photo. In his intervention, the Secretary General of MENFOB, Mr. Mohammed Abdullah Mayoub, expressed his satisfaction with the progress of the training. He congratulated the participant and thanked the trainer who had worked during this period of hot weather. He stressed the value of this training, which aims to strengthen professional skills that should help young people to enter the labor market. In addition, the Secretary General encouraged and thanked WFP on behalf of MENFOB for the continued support of this training of trainers. At the beginning of this weekend, a 10-day training course for the heads of guards of the Civil Protection Directorate was completed by Paris Fire Brigade, an instructor from the National Civil Protection Directorate. The ceremony was attended by the Commander of the Fire Brigade, Director of Civil Protection, Colonel Mahmoud Musa Mahmoud, Colonel Frederick Pasquier, cooperating with internal security officers and senior civil protection officers. The purpose of this training was to improve the operational tactical knowledge of duty officers. Through this training, they will be able to carry out their fundamental sovereign missions. The Commander of the Fire Brigade, National Director of Civil Protection, Colonel Mahmoud Musa Mohammed, urged all participants in the training to translate the knowledge acquired in the field into concrete action to promote the assurance of their rescue and firefighting mission. Signing of the tripartite Memorandum of Understanding for the agro-pastoral demonstration perimeters on Thursday, 25 July 2019, a ceremony was held in the meeting room of Dikil Prefecture to sign a Memorandums of Understanding between the Ministry of Agriculture, Water, Livestock and Fisheries, FAO, and the owners of the agricultural areas selected as agro-pastoral demonstration areas. The PADs will be implemented according to the guidelines of the Directorate of Agriculture and Forestry and FAO, with the methodology and pedagogical approach based on the concept of the agro-pastoral field school. Developed by the FACET activities, is one of the flagship activities of the RE Pro project VA, strengthening plant and animal productivity in the Republic of Djibouti, which aims more specifically to improve water resources management and access to water in rural areas, improve food diversification, access to quality food, diversify the source of income in vulnerable rural households, and strengthen effort to prevent malnutrition. The project will be implemented over a 4-year period and will cover rural areas in the 5 regions of the country that have potential and are vulnerable to climate change. The final beneficiaries of the project are agro-pastoral population and producer groups. Djibouti pilgrims left Medina for the city of Makkah to continue their journey They were welcomed and installed by the members of the Pilgrim Affairs Office in Makkah. It should be recalled that despite the length of the trip, the pilgrims were very satisfied with the reception condition of the committee and the apartments reserved for them. Also, they will be directed to the Kaaba so that they can properly perform their Umrah before the beginning of Hajj. In addition, the other pilgrims accepted in the following days will also follow the same routine. The women's national team that flew to Mauritania this week was greeted just before its departure by Federation President Suleiman Hassan Waberi. This event, which took place at the new Women's Sports and Training Center located near to 2nd Arrondissement, was attended by the Sport Director Mr. Abshir Ali, Mrs. Fadhiya Usman, Vice President of the Women's Football Commission within the FDF, and Mrs. Fatuma Dukali, Director of the Center, as well as many other personalities. All the players of the national team and their technical staff, who were in a state of excitement in preparation for their next friendly match with the Mauritanians, enthusiastically welcomed and listened to the speech delivered on that occasion by the number one of the FDF and President of the Arbitration Commission of the African Football Confederation, Mr. Suleiman. He gave them some advice and above all urged the players to behave in an exemplary manner on the pitch and on the embody the values conveyed by football. He urged them to respect their opponents and especially the referees. You represent the Republic of Djibouti, so I invite you to act as such and to honor our nation by having a remarkable and irreproachable attitude. You can win as you can lose, but most important thing is to have a highly fair play attitude on the field, said Mr. Suleiman in substance. Then it was the Director of Sport, Mr. Abshir Ali, who addressed the audience. He took the opportunity to pay tribute to the FDF President for his effort in support of national football and urged the players to come back with a victory. As part of the medical consultation activities, the Ministry of Health is visited by a Korean team that carries out medical consultation for the benefits of the population, the village Markazi, and the local population at the Obok Medical Hospital. This medical caravan is composed of ophthalmology, stomatology, physiotherapy, male and female, and gastroenterology, general medicine, under the supervision of Obok Regional Chief Physician Dr. Dembio. The practitioners started consultation today and continue until Friday. An ambulance is available to the village Markazi for patient travel to MHC. On Friday, July 26, 2019, around 9:15 a.m., a pleasure boat carrying Djiboutian tourists experienced a major motor accident while heading for Mucha Island. Indeed, a few minutes after leaving the fishing port, the motors of the pleasure boat exploded. The pleasure boat was carrying 4 Djiboutian tourists accompanied by the pilot and the sailor. Following the engine incident, the pilot sustained burns in his arm and back, while 2 of the tourists fell into the sea as a result of the shock. The Djiboutian Coast Guard Maritime Surveillance patrol teams who were close to the scene of the incident immediately intervened promptly to assist the occupant of the launch. 2 injured the burn victim and 1 injured armed passenger were immediately returned to the fishing port and evacuated to Peltier General Hospital. The pleasure boat that was damaged was towed to the fishing port. The investigation is entrusted to the Brigade Research, Investigation and Business to determine the condition of this incident. And now moving to the international news. When car manufacturers agree to reduce pollution, it's happening in California, and 4 heavyweights have decided to join forces to fight the Trump administration. Ford, Honda, Volkswagen and BMW, in agreement with the state of California, will voluntarily reduce greenhouse gas emission from their vehicles. Objective to prevent more or less stringent standards for emerging in different parts of the United States. Donald Trump canceled the tightening of standards adopted at the end of Barack Obama's mandate when he came to power. But California, which has had autonomy in this area for decades, had announced its intention to legislate itself. We all agree that a framework that guarantees a national solution is the best solution, the manufacturers said in a statement. This is a statement of a principle from federal government to try to move it from the path it is on to a more constructive one. Mary Nichols, California's chief environmental regulator, said in an interview with the Washington Post. The target set in this agreement is a little less ambitious than what Barack Obama had set, 5% reduction per year. The agreement concerns 2026 and require an average reduction in CO2 emission of 3.7% each year. The new models will have to achieve a fuel consumption equivalent to about 4.7 liters per 100 km compared to the 6.3 liter 100 km currently in use. California, the most populous state in the United States, accounts for about 12% of American vehicle sales. And that's all for this news. Thank you for watching us and have a wonderful night.